Hey everyone, Darren Cornell here. Welcome back to my studio. We are doing an Ask Me Anything. Last month, a couple of weeks ago, I decided I was going to start rejigging the tiers on my Patreon so that I could give you guys more things. I knew that about half, or most, I don't know, I haven't counted. A lot of people on here just say, no, we're just here, Darren, to follow you. We like what you do. We want to support. We want to help. And that makes me want to cry. But I want to give you more stuff anyway, because you're here and you are making my life better. You're helping to make my life better. And I want to, give something back. And in the future, I'm going to be doing artwork and fridge magnets and pins and anything I can think of. But I needed to start it, and one thing that I realised I could do quickly that wouldn't cost me any money to start with, and that I could do relatively easily, that wouldn't take too much time, was to do a monthly Ask Me Anything video. And a couple of weeks ago I asked for questions and a bunch of you gave me some questions, and we're going to go through that today and I will answer them, and it could be fun. Yes, I'm wearing a top hat. Yes, I've got a pair of steampunky looking goggles. This is actually stuff that I wore, for those who don't know, actually both of these separately, I wore on different secret cinema events that I went to. Now, those who don't know what secret cinema is, go onto YouTube and look up secret cinema, Back to the Future, Blade Runner, Star Wars, Moulin Rouge, Romeo and Juliet. I think they've done a video for that. They've done different events and I've gone to a load of them. Basically, they build the world from one of your favourite films, and they have like 100 actors in character that you interact with. They build sets. Oh my goodness, it's just like being in the film, and it gives you lifelong memories. They are incredible, genuinely mind-blowing. Every time we've come out of one, we've been thinking, oh my god, that's the best night of my life. Like literally, without exaggerating, you come out and you think, that was the best night of my life. That was amazing. And we've done loads of them. So, the top hat was from Moulin Rouge, because it was Paris 1899. And the women were all wearing corsets and stockings and short skirts and feathers and all of that, because it was the Moulin Rouge. And the men were wearing top hats and waistcoats and bow ties. My beard fit in really perfectly. I'm so glad I grew it just in time. And it was the events of Moulin Rouge, and there's lots of singing, and it was one of the best nights of my life. It was incredible. That's the top hat. The goggles, the futuristic looking goggles, I made for the Blade Runner one that we went to. It was all supposed to be futuristic-y, and I wanted something to add to my costume. So I bought a cheap set of... Oh, excuse me. Oh, 1 second. And so I bought a cheap set of welding goggles from Amazon and added things to them, like this lens-looking thing on the front. Where am I pointing to? There. That lens-looking thing is the lid from a can of deodorant. And the plastic thing was a bit of light, a bit of like a fake lens from the front of an LED pop-up lamp. You know, one of those ones that you stick in a cupboard and you just go pop-up and it turns the light on? Well, I took the light, the clear plastic bit off the front, stuck it on there, screwed it on, glued it on, put a bit of plastic between them, put some LED lights inside, and they got the red one there. Took the lights from the inside that thing, painted it all, added some wires, made it all look futuristic-y. And that's what I wore to Blade Runner. And when I was inside, because I actually had these on my face, so if I needed to see, I'm trying to feel where it is now, I could flip them up and actually see where I was going, and then put them down when I wanted to look cool in photos. So that's what I'm wearing. I've got them on today because I just saw them. These actually live up on the shelf above the A.M.A things here, up on the top shelf. And the goggles are on the top hat just because I needed somewhere to put them, and I realised there was actually a good place to store them, just putting them on the top hat and sitting the top hat up on the shelf. At some point, when I have more space, I will put this on a thing like the Iron Man. Try and get out the way, Darren. The Iron Man helmet. I'll put this on a stand because this is memories. It's just a top hat and it's just a stupid, fake sci-fi pair of goggles that I made. But these are genuine memories. This makes me feel like I was in the film Moulin Rouge and we were all sitting in it and we were in the replica of the Moulin Rouge theatre and it was incredible. And that, I was in Blade Runner and I was dealing with Roy and Pris and the Blade Runner cops everywhere and people were getting arrested and there was a replicant uprising and it was incredible. They had rain inside. It was all set inside an abandoned warehouse. That's where they set their events, just around London. And this one, because it was Blade Runner, they had an area that was supposed to be outside and it was raining and we all had see-through light up umbrellas, like with neon lights, LED lights. And you went into this area and it was raining and there was neon signs everywhere and they had a noodle bar that, like in the film, and you sat there and you had noodles, no, 2, 4, and you got to do all that and interact with the characters. It was amazing. So this is proper memories. This makes me like oh. Anyway, so ask me anything questions. I'm going to do this every month. I will ask for questions. You can send me questions. It can be questions about anything. It can be about work. It can be about my painting. It can be asking about techniques or how I do things. It can be questions about my life. This top hat is really hurting my head. Either my head's grown or that top hat has shrunk because, oh my god, that was squeezing my head. It can be about my life. It can be about films. It can be about the world we live in. It can be questions about anything. I will answer them all. I will answer most of them. It depends what they are. I'm going to say I will answer them all because I probably will. I think you will all behave. My moustache is not behaving. Okay, let's get started. So, first one from Paul. Oh, how do you pronounce your surname? I'm going to go with Yurchak. Tell me if that's wrong. It might be wrong, I'm guessing. But I'm going to guess Paul Yurchak, who asks, who shot first? Paul is clearly referring to Star Wars and Han Solo. And the answer, in fact, I'm going to give you the correct answer. Most people say Han shot first. That's incorrect. That is wrong. The correct answer, Han was the only one who shot. Obviously. Because he's there. And Greedo says, I've been looking forward to this duel for a long time. And Han goes, yeah, I bet you have. Kills him. That's what happens. That's it. No one else shot. Han was the only one who shot. And it really, really frustrated me when all that got changed and Han dodged a laser blast with a weird bendy neck. He was fast enough to see a laser blast coming, go with his neck, miss it and then shoot back. Ugh, so annoying. It's the point of the character. Because George Lucas was like, oh, Han Solo's popular now, I don't want him to be killing people. That's the point of Han Solo. He was a rogue. He was a scoundrel. He was happy to kill someone to escape and survive. That's what he was. That's who he was. And then his story changed over the course of the 3 films. And he grew into more of a hero. That's the point of the character. And that's what George Lucas ruined. I actually like some of the changes on the special editions. They're not all bad changes. That one annoys me though, so if I ever get around to doing my own edit, that will be going back to how it was. So Paul, Han was the only one who shot. A.M.A. Ferguson. Hi A.M.A. Let's see, smooth, a work question. Smooth blending. How can I achieve a seamless blend of colours, especially skin tones, when I'm painting faces, Darren, please? I always seem to end up with a distinctive line between colours. Right. This depends on how you're painting it. If you're using acrylics, and we are using acrylics here. I've used oil paints on canvases, but I've never used them on faces. I always use acrylics. You can get there's different ways you can get smooth blends. If you're getting solid lines, it's basically a technique thing. You can build it up in thin layers, so instead of painting a colour, and then wanting to paint a darker colour and painting it and you end up with a line between them, you can paint whatever colour you're doing on top, darker or light, doesn't matter. And instead of just painting that colour the thickness that you want, and that's it, you can do it much thinner. Ow. You can paint the colour, you can make the paint, I should say, much thinner, water it down, really thin it down, and do a layer of that colour. And then when that's dry, do another layer on top, and another layer, and another layer. And then eventually, where you've done loads of layers, or even just a few, depending on how you'll get better at it. Where you've done more layers, the colour will be more solid. But because you've done more layers, and you started out with a bigger area of the thin layer, and then you've gone smaller, 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 and then that's the area where you've just done a load of layers on top of each other. That will have a smoother looking blend. You can do it that way. You can also do it just by technique and experience and practice of using a brush. So let's say you've got a small brush like that, and you're adding some rosy colour to the cheeks. You can get your brush, get your thinned down red colour, put some on, either whether you're going dab, 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 like we often do, or trying to just paint it in. If you can just, there's a full area that you want to give like a red wash to, and you can do all that. And then while you've got that brush, you can just blend out the edges, and that's a practice thing. One thing that I've started doing fairly recently that works quite well, I always have two brushes on the go. And so let me just check this video. I've just suddenly had a horrible like fear that, oh my god, I haven't pressed record. No, I have pressed record. It is recording. I have to check. I get that wrong so many times. I think I'm recording and I've just been talking to nobody. So I have two brushes on the go. The brush that I'm actually painting with, and a dry, clean brush with some water and kitchen towel ready to go. So I'll have that. I will get the thinned down watery paint. Let's say we're doing cheeks again, and I'll go blah 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 blah, and I'll paint that around where I need it. Then I get the clean brush, dab it in some water, wipe it off on the kitchen roll, clean, and then just go around the edges of what we've done and go dab 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 dab. That was my phone, forgive me, I forgot to put my phone on silent mode for doing a video. But I dab around the edges with a clean brush, and that blends the colour out and helps you get smoother edges. So I hope those two techniques help. Ask me more questions if you need more help with that, because that's what I'm here for and I can help. But that's the two ways that I usually do it. You can also do dry brushing, which if you're not careful can end up looking quite streaky and smudgy. But if you get a brush like something like that, so it's not thin and pointy, but it's a bit rough on the edge on the top, and it's a bit wider. And if you're doing that, you could get the red colour, but more of a solid paint. Where's my red? Get more of a solid colour instead of really thin and watered down. You want it to be the thick paint. Get some on the brush, wipe all of it off on a piece of kitchen towel. Get all of it off until just a little bit is showing as you're rubbing it on the towel, or even test it on your hand or something, and you see just the vaguest hint of a colour, and then you can dry brush it on the top. It's like putting makeup on. It's like using powdered makeup or something, and it works like that. And if you get that right and you do it subtle enough, you can build it up really slowly, and you can get smooth colours like that. So there you go, 3 techniques for getting smooth blends. I hope they help. If they don't, shoot me a question and I'll try and help. Roger Bowen. Hey Rog. That Peter Capaldi doc with the guitar that I keep seeing behind you, did you paint his head? Good question. I did. Let me pull up a thing that I can show you if I get this right. When I did that, let me start again. I got that wrong. When I did my first 13th Doctor head, 13th? 12th. 12th. Peter Capaldi, that one. When I did my first one, it was for a client, and they sent me the head from the Big Chief Studios figure, and I glued the neck into the head because I didn't want where there's like a line across there. and there's a joint there, and the head moves separately, and the neck. I didn't want that because I don't like that line. So I wanted it to be a solid sculpt all the way down, and I could also make the neck look more like an old man neck by adding wrinkles and little bits of skin, loose skin and stuff, like he has. So I glued the neck into... There's the head, there's the bottom of the head, there's like a socket, put the neck in, glued it in place, sculpted around it, added wrinkles, added bits of, you know, droopy skin, did all that, made it into an old man neck, painted it up, and that was the first Peter Capaldi Doctor that I put up online, the first one that people saw, and it was quite popular. I've since painted another 2. I did one for another client, did exactly the same thing for a different client, did one for myself at the same time because I knew I wanted one. So if I bring up this, I've got a couple of pictures. Come on, computer, open up. There you go. So how do I do, let's see, I've forgotten how I share. How do I do it? There you go, desktop share. So if I do a desktop share, no, that's wrong. I want to do the right screen, bring that to the top. No. It's all going horribly wrong. There you go, finally. I haven't done that for a while. Okay, so there's a collection of Peter Capaldi pictures. So that was the first one that I did. This is the one that most people have seen, that I shared around. My computer's been a bit slow opening these up because I'm recording a video, so it doesn't like me doing too many things. It's not that powerful a computer. So that's these ones. Now if I go further down, you'll see, here we go, where I've done 2 together, and that is these ones. So one of those is the one that's behind me, and I should have a slightly closer up version, more close up version of that. If my computer works, you can see the timer thing going, no, Darren, that's too much, we can't do everything. Oh my goodness. Okay, I've just learned that if I'm recording videos and trying to show pictures using the Mac Photo app, it doesn't work. Okay, well, I'll carry on talking while that's doing. So I did 2 pictures. Oh my god. I did 2 heads. Get it right, Darren. So I did 2 Peter Capaldi heads at the same time. One went to the client, one went to... Let me put my main camera back on while that's trying to... Oh, see, my video's all lagging and everything now. Hopefully you can hear me, and it will catch up once that app decides to behave itself. It's not, it's just... My computer's going, ah! In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if my computer's trying to do a backup at the moment. Sometimes it does that, and that makes it even worse. Actually, no, it's not doing a backup. It's just trying to use that is making it worse. So I'm going to quit that app. There you go. Boom. Hopefully everything has started running a bit smoother now here. So yeah, those 2 that you just saw. I was trying to do a close-up, but it wouldn't work. One went to a client, one went there. And I love it. I put the figure together using bits from different sources. So there's a black hoodie from one place online. There's a t-shirt that I sort of cut little rips in to match the one on the show. Bought the guitar from somewhere in China on eBay. It's not exactly the right shape of guitar, but it's close enough, and I'm going to re-sculpt it at some point to make it right. Some trousers, some boots. I had someone send me some outfit pieces. And the same for the Matt Smith Doctor as well. Like, someone sent me the full outfit. So I put that together to go with the TARDIS, and it just looks amazing. I love it. So yes, he has been repainted. I will try and show some pictures at some other point when I'm not trying to record a video, or I will get the pictures. I think the problem was using the Photos app. That uses quite a lot of resources sometimes. And using that and my software to record videos and recording a video to the hard drive, it was just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing all of that. If I copy photos to my desktop, I can show them dead easily. They work really quick. So I'll do that next time. I will prepare. That's more in advance is what I'll do. I'll be more professional at this, and I will do what I should have done. So thank you, Roger. Yep, that has been painted. Kenneth. Hello, Kenneth. How much time do you spend daily grooming your beard? Now, I've done a video about this recently, so funny you ask. But I would say on average 10 to 20 minutes. I don't know. I try not to. It's a pain in the arse. But the beard, I get some oil, beard oil, squirt it onto my hand, rub it around, and basically just rub the oil through my beard, underneath, do all that, and then try and get it into roughly the right shape and let it just sit, and it'll hopefully sit right. That's quite quick, and that helps. It stops it drying out, it stops your skin drying out apparently, and it just helps it, you know, getting it into roughly the right shape that you want. I don't want it too pointy. In fact, I could probably do with a little bit coming off the bottom there. I don't want it too pointy at the front like that. I could make it better by brushing it backwards, but then it looks a bit raggedy. It does look better like that, I think. So that's what I do with the beard. But the beard isn't the thing that takes the amount of time. That was what I do there. That's quite quick. The moustache is the thing that's the pain in the arse. That takes me ages. So, I bet I've got a red line. Yeah, I've got a red line right across my head now from wearing this stupid thing. The moustache, I get wax, moustache wax. It comes in a little pot, and you scrape some onto your nail inside, and you rub it on your fingers. And I use those fingers and my thumbs. And then basically, I sort of do that to put the wax on, and I help it get in shape, and I make sure that some of it's got underneath, and I get some on the top, and then I basically just shape it, pull it along, make sure the ends have got wax on, and sometimes I'll give them a little twist just to hold them together, because sometimes they separate and you end up with like two bits of, you know, points, and it doesn't look right. So I do that and shape it, and sometimes it's quite quick to do, and sometimes it just takes forever. And I miss the days when I could get out of the shower, towel dry my face, and I was done. That was it. I miss those days so much. But then I wouldn't have this. I'm pretty sure a lot of people wouldn't have called me the Bob Ross of painting if I didn't have this. So I think I sort of have to keep it. So 10 to 20 minutes, I think. Kristen McDonald. Hi, Kristen. Hi, Darren. I've got a question about commission rates. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Since I've started following your tutorials, my painting skills have come on so much, and Thank you. That is lovely to hear. That is the best thing I could ever hear in the world. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad I've been able to help. Oh, that's brilliant. I hope I can carry on helping. Ask me any other questions you have. My painting skills have come on so much, and I've even started to get quite a few requests for commissions. Well done, you. However, I often fear that I'm going to scare people away by charging too much. Oh my god, I know that so much. That has been me for the last 13 years. Since I've started doing this, that has been my life. I will explain in a second. I'm scared that I'm going to scare people away. I've been charging £10 an hour. It's actually more than I do. Although I often come across people who don't appreciate that any form of artwork takes a lot of time and effort to complete to a high standard. Yes, I know. Do you have any advice on how to handle this? Can't wait to hear from you. Thanks, Kristen. Well, thanks for the question. Yes, that's a difficult one, and it can be hard trusting that you are good enough to warrant charging for something. When I first started doing this, it was a hobby that occasionally paid. That's how I viewed it. It wasn't a line of work, it wasn't a career, it wasn't my job. It was a hobby that occasionally paid. And when I started, getting commissions, after I'd done my very first Anakin Skywalker head, the very first one I ever did, in this scale, started getting commissions, I was charging £40 per head, and I wasn't as good as I am now. Practice and experience over the years, my painting is 10 times better than it used to be. But at the time, they were still better than standard action figures, so they were still improvements. But I spent a week on them and I was charging £40, which is, I don't know, $50, something like that now, for the Americans, and not enough. But that's what I felt cheeky asking for money. Asking for anything, I felt cheeky. I felt cheeky asking for £40. I'm like, oh no, that's too much. They're not going to want to pay that. Is it good enough? I don't know. All of that stuff. I know exactly what you mean. I feel that right here. And what happened over the years, and it's a difficult thing to do, it took me, I would say, 10 years, almost 10 years, to get to a point where I was able to go, you know what? I am this good. I'm good up to this level, whatever level that is. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm about here. I don't know where the scale goes, but I'm about here. At this point, and I've got like, you know, a more than 12-month waiting list, I should be charging this amount. I actually want to get paid this amount now, you know, per figure or per week or per day, or however you work it out. I thought, this is sort of the wage I want to get. I should be charging this. And it took me many, many years to build up to that layer, that level, and go, right, this is my price now. And to not be scared that people would leave. And what happened at the beginning, I was charging £40. Did that for a while. At some point I thought, I want to be getting more than this. I didn't want to double it. I actually wanted to be earning double, but I didn't want to double it, so I almost doubled it. I put the prices up to £75 each. When I did that, I was thinking, oh my god, everybody is going to run away. Everyone's going to say, who the effing hell does he think he is, charging £75? I thought everyone's going to leave me. They're all going to be talking about me behind my back. I was dreading the whole thing. It made no difference whatsoever to the amount of people coming in for my commissions. It didn't change a thing. So that carried on for a while. Another few years down the line, I'm like, oh, this is still not enough. This isn't a wage. This is, you know, for a week, a full week of work, this is not enough. I'm doing like 10-hour days, 12-hour days. So I, at some point, put it up to, I don't know if I went straight, I think I went to 125 next. Didn't make any difference. At some point, a few years later, went up to 150. At some point, a few years later, I went up to, I think there's a few jumps, but eventually I got to 300. Still not quite, it wasn't really a monthly wage, and I was doing more work in keeping that going. It wasn't just the painting, I was doing all the admin. I spend like 4 or 5 hours a day doing admin now, replying to emails and stuff, YouTube comments, Facebook comments, emails, people from my website asking me, can you do this for me, how much is it, Darren, I need some help with this. I spend 4 or 5 hours a day just doing that in the morning before I get anywhere near painting. So as my work got more, my admin got more. There were more people getting in touch with me. So it took more time just to keep the business going. So it still wasn't a wage. And then at some point I put it up to 400 and I thought that's got to be it. That's got to be the breaking point. I'm going to say this is my price. £400 to paint a head. It takes me a week. That's my price. And I thought, oh god, they're going to be talking about me in forums, they're going to be talking about me in Facebook groups, and to be honest, I think they do. But it's too much. They're all going to go away. They are all going to hate me. They're all going to think I'm trying to rip them off, which I'm not, because it takes a long time to do this stuff. It's taken me 13 years to get as good as I am. That's what the price is for. It's the amount of time that I'm doing it, and it's for my wage. It pays my rent. And it's for the last 13 years of getting better. But I was terrified. I thought, they are all going to go away. Made no difference to the amount of people getting in touch. At all. The only thing that's slowed things down is the fact that figures and statues themselves are getting better. So there's more people who previously would have paid for a commission who are now going, you know what? I don't actually need to do anything with that. That's good enough. That's fine. I wanted them to get better 10 years ago, but they didn't. So it took 13 years, between 10 and 13 years, to get to that level and go, that's okay. But I finally feel like I'm sort of earning what I should have been earning. And I don't mind telling you how much I earn from that, because I mean, at the moment, I'm actually not earning anything at the moment because I'm working on a backlog from things that people have paid for a year ago or more. Because I've had a nightmare of a year and I am months and months and months behind, but I'm trying to catch up. So I'm actually not getting paid anything at the moment. In fact, you guys here in Patreon are paying my rent at the moment because I'm not getting any active commission work. So that's what's happening. That's where I got to on my prices. But it did take me a long time. And eventually you get to the point where you're like, that's okay. I'm happy to say that's my price, and I'm happy for some people to go, oh, that's too much for me. That's fine. There will be other people doing it. Shut up, phone. Give me 1 second. Let me put that on silent mode. There you go. Done. Don't know what I was saying. But it took me that many years to get to that point where I was like, if people go away and say, oh, that's too much for me, fine, that's okay, that's good. I don't mind. There will be other people who will do it cheaper. There will be other people who can probably do it faster, who don't have as much of a waiting list, or who can paint a head in a day or something. Go to them. I don't mind. But a lot of people are coming to me and saying, I want you. No, I don't want anyone else to paint it. I want you to paint it. That's why I've come to you. What's your waiting list? 12 months. Okay, fine, I'll wait. And that's what has been happening to me pretty much, I would say 90% of the time. People come to me because they want me. And it's humbling and it makes me cry. And it's ridiculous, but that's what happens. And because of that, I don't feel too cheeky anymore asking to get paid for the work. Well, at the start, I just, don't give me any money. I just felt horrible. Now it's like, no, that's my work. People are coming to me for a reason. But it did take a long time getting there. I can't make that happen faster for you. I can't tell you how much to charge. Unfortunately, it's a thing you will only, I would say, so you're saying £10 an hour that you're charging. It depends how much you're painting, how quickly you paint things out. It depends how quickly you paint things, how long it takes you to do something, whether it's hours, days, weeks, or whatever. If you can paint, let's say you're getting commissions to paint a thing, a head, or a model house, or whatever it is, and you can do it in a day. So depending on how many hours you paint in a day, that's another thing. Are you painting 8 hours a day, or 10 hours a day, or are you painting 3 hours a day? That makes a difference to it, to how many hours you're charging for. But let's say it takes you 8 hours or 10 hours to paint a thing. That's £100. That's okay, because if you can do that in let's say a day, if it's a good day of work, and you can do 4 or 5 of them a week, you've got yourself a wage there. If you can only paint a few hours a week and it takes you longer to do admin and stuff, or if you're like me and my epilepsy brain doesn't let me concentrate for, sometimes it's fine and I manage to go through an entire day and work for 10 hours straight painting. Sometimes I can do 2 hours or 3 hours and my brain just goes, oh Darren, you've got to stop now, this is too much. And it's like too much concentrating, and if I push that too much I can end up having seizures. So I have to sometimes go, okay, I'll do something else. I'll do a bit of video editing, or I'll do something, not concentrating on little details. So you're only doing a few hours, then doing that thing would take a week or more, and then all of a sudden that's not really a wage. So you have to judge that for yourself, but you also have to go by how many people are coming to you, how much waiting list you've got, how good you think you are compared to other people. I mean, honestly, I don't compare myself to other people. I know that there are other people as good as or better than me, and they may be cheaper than me. They probably are, to be honest. But I don't care about what they're charging. I've worked out my price and that's what I'm charging. That's what I think it takes, the amount of time it takes and the amount of practice it's taken. You will have to work that out for yourself. The way I did it was slow increases, and you get more confident as your prices get up and get closer to where you want it to be. I would say don't jump from wherever you are straight up to where ow, I just hit my hat. Straight up to where you want to be at the top, because that kind of jump may make people go, whoa, what the hell's that? I don't know. I did it slowly. You might not want to wait 10 years. And I don't think you will have to wait 10 years. That was because I didn't have the confidence in myself or in my work. I just thought it's not worth that much. Despite the fact that I had like a 12-month waiting list or something, and people were constantly coming to me, and people were constantly saying, Darren, I want you to do it. I know there's other people, and I know that guy over there could paint it within 3 weeks. I don't want him. I came to you. How long's the waiting list? That should have given me more of a clue to be more confident with what I wanted to earn. But it took me a while. Hopefully you can do it quicker. Hopefully you can get it to where you want to be a bit quicker. This has been way more talky than I was expecting it to be. Half an hour. Sorry, everyone else. But this is it's a really good point. It's a really good question. That side of my moustache is just not behaving. So hopefully you can do it quicker than me. Hopefully it won't take you 10 or 13 years to get there. But yeah, if you're doing £10 an hour now, then it shouldn't take too much, depending on how much you can paint and how quick you can paint, to turn that into a decent weekly or monthly or yearly wage. It doesn't sound like you're far off anyway. But if you're worried, I would just do some. And if you still get people coming to you, then it's okay. And if some people go, oh, that's too much, that's fine, as long as you've still got enough work coming in. If more people are leaving than are coming to you, and if you're not if you've got times where there's not anything happening, you're not doing anything because more people have left, maybe that's too much. But as long as you're getting work, that's actually fine, because you're getting paid the same for doing less work, even though you're still working a full week. But it's, you're doing half the commissions to get paid the same amount. That's all. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. That's my story. I just told everyone how much I charged there, and I was always scared about saying that. That's another thing. I hated telling people how much I charged in public. I would be, oh yeah, send me a private message. Because I thought, if I say that in public, everyone's going to go, who the fuck do you think you are, Darren? I was terrified of it. Now it's like, yeah, that's what I charge. So everyone knows now. I hope that helped. Send me a private message if you need to talk about it more. I hope I helped, Kristen. So, good luck. Anyway, I'm glad your painting's going well. I'm really, really glad. I'm glad I helped. I'm going to go away and cry later. Thank you. Okay, we're almost there. 2 left. Jim Allen. Hey, Jim. How would you go about painting the Night King from Game of Thrones on the clothing and the face? Now, I talked to someone, actually it might have been you, Jim, and private messages on Facebook. But for everyone else, so the Night King on Game of Thrones, he's made of ice, and he's sort of dark, and it looks like he's wearing dark leathery outfits, but it's all icy and snowy, and his face looks like it's made from a solid block of dark ice, and you can sort of see into it, and brilliant. How I would paint that, I would mix some dark blues, maybe get some like normal blue, and mix a bit of black into it, or a bit of dark brown, or just get some dark blue. There will be colours that exist. Mix a little bit of grey into it to tone the colour down a bit, I would say. And I would do the dark colours on the clothes especially, but I would also do it on the face, but maybe not as dark. But on the clothes, I would do the dark blue. I would do layers of washes and picking out highlights and dry brushing and just smearing it. I mean, you could use your fingers, to be honest. And I would do layers of lighter colours, lighter greys, lighter dark blues, just again slightly lighter. I wouldn't want anything to be a bright blue, so I would mix more grey into it as the colours got lighter, because you want the tips of things, like little spikes and stuff, to be white, so they look like they've got snow and ice on them. So as you're building up from really dark blue to almost white, I would do different things, picking out paints with thin washes, doing dry brushing, whatever you find that can work. Build up the colours and you want the peaks of things, little shoulder spikes or whatever, to be white. You want the dark crevices, there's like a bit of the costume that folds and there's a dark bit in there. You want that to be the darkest colour. So do that, build it up, and then go back in with some dark thin washes of dark blue, dark black, and maybe a bit of dark brown, dark grey, and put some in the dark bit. Oh my god, I can't talk now. I've been talking for so long. My brain's going, that's it, I'm done, enough talking. Do the shadows of stuff that you want, and the face, where it sort of looks like a really thick block of dark ice. Imagine looking into some ice, like if the sea, if the ocean had frozen, and you'd look into it, and you can see into it, but you can't actually see anything because it's just dark. That's what his head looks like. So I'd do the same thing, and with that, I would have more highlights, more lighter blues, more whites, more light greys, because he's got more surface detail. His nose, his ears, his eyebrows. There's more lighter colours on that, and especially the little horns, like the crown thing. It's actually horns coming out of his head, but in the shape of a crown. They're all almost white, I think, as I can remember. But then he's got bright blue eyes. So treat his eyes like, instead of doing the white of his eyes, I think they're all blue. So that would be fun doing those eyes, because you can go bright blue with them because they glow. So don't be scared about making them a muted down, more grey version of blue, like with the outfits and stuff. Go for blue on the eyes. And that's it. And you could even, I suppose, get some like fake snow. I don't know what you can buy. I've never bought any, but you can buy fake snow. And I had some in a can years ago and I sprayed it on my windows at Christmas. But you can buy fake snow. You could probably get some glue. I don't know how well it'd work. I would probably do it with paint, but you probably could do it depending on the scale of the figure. Put a bit of glue on some of the peaks and highlights, sprinkle some fake snow on it, and it would add a bit of icy, extra layer to it. So that is how I would do the Night King from Game of Thrones. Speaking of Game of Thrones, we've been re-watching this from the beginning because we wanted to see it again before the last season starts, and we have got one episode to go. We've caught right up to the end of season 7, but we've got the final episode to watch, which we are doing tonight. And then we've got the new season in about 2 weeks, I think. Cannot wait. It's such an amazing program. Rewatching the whole thing makes you realise, holy crap, this is really good. This is like actually really good. So that's coming up. Can't wait for that. So hope that helps Jim and anybody else who's trying to paint Game of Thrones stuff. Paul Yurchak again. Paul, you're being cheeky. You're asking 2 questions. What is your favourite figure or collectible that you have? This is the last question. So anybody else who's watching this, you're thinking, oh my god, Darren, you're talking too much. I know. This is longer than I thought it was going to be. Sorry, but this is the last one. What's your favourite figure or collectible that you have? That's a difficult one, Paul, because I've got a few things that I like for different reasons. I love the Big Chief Studios TARDIS because it's really big, and it looks great with a figure, and it does light up inside. I don't like the lights. I'm redoing the lights. I'm actually redoing the windows. If I pull this door shut, if I can get my finger in the door handle, see how this window looks? I don't like how that looked, so I've remade another one, and I made the frame out of thin strips of balsa wood, which I then cast in resin, and I put I got some thin plastic to cover the back, and I got some speckly plastic to add as these bottom windows where it's supposed to be like a textured glass. Looks much better. I'm doing that all the way around for all the windows to make them look better, but I'm also adding lighting behind them. Haven't done that yet. I leave that door open because you don't see the difference as much. But I want to add lighting to the windows, having like a light panel behind each window. I also, when I have the time to learn how to do it, want to learn some Arduino stuff where I can have it lit up, but have sound effects and stuff, so I can push a button and it does the dematerialization sound, and the lights fade and go away, and then push another button and they'll come back and it'll land, so to speak, as it does in the show. Or maybe if I have a little magnetic switch and you open the door and you hear the inside of the TARDIS. I want to do all of that. I don't know if I ever get the time to do it because I'm always so busy and I never have time to complete my projects. I'll start a thing and then I'll get busy and it'll like that. That's been sat there for so long now. So I want to finish that. When that's finished, it will be amazing. It's even amazing now. I do love it. It's a brilliant piece. It's imposing, and the thought of having a TARDIS that is that big, that's the size of it. When I saw it, I'm like, I have to have that. I need that in my collection, and I got it. I don't spend too much money on things now just because I don't have as much money as I used to. But there's that. Let's see. I'm going to try and keep this short because I could name everything otherwise. Right, this one has a special place in my heart, and most of you will know why. This Anakin Skywalker with a head that I customized. With a head that I customized 13 years ago when I started this whole line of work as a hobby. That's the very first head that I ever did. But actually, that's a lie. I did an Anakin Skywalker, got a lot of attention for it, realised it could have been better, did another one that was cleaner and sharper with the sculpting and better. That's this one. But Anakin was still the first one that I did. This is the first figure that I did and kept. I got rid of the head because I didn't like it. This one's better. But that is the paint job from 13 years ago and the head from 13 years ago. Upgraded the clothes a little bit, just sort of made these leather things sit a little bit lower, did some adjusting and stuff. I actually sold this. I sold all of my figures. I had this, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Legolas, Aragorn, bunch of figures that I did, the very first figures I did. And I sold them all on eBay because 10 years ago, 11 years ago now, I was getting married and we were doing a honeymoon and we were doing a road trip across America and we needed money. So I sold everything. Instantly regretted it because those figures were part of my history. They were my first things. I did them all in the first few months or the first year. And I really should have kept them. Luckily, the person who bought this from me agreed to let me have it back if I did a different one for him. I was so grateful for that. So that means that I now have my first figure in my collection and it's part of my history. I don't care if I can paint heads better now. I don't care if I can paint Anakin better, which I can. This is my first one. This is super, super, dear to me in my heart because this is the thing. Bob Ross and this are the two things that started this off. Bob Ross because I was watching him and I thought, that looks interesting, I'll do some painting. And that started the whole thing. And then this, because it was the first one I did, and people were like, whoa, that's really good, can you do that for mine? I hadn't even thought about that. I was before I had figured out there was such a thing as doing a line of work painting statues for people. So yeah, I love that. Oh my god, this hurts so much. One more, let's see, TARDIS, Anakin. I mean, there's all of these. Obviously, I love that. Can you even see it? Sorry, my camera's being covered up. Oh, yes, you can. So, Iron Man figure. I know Hot Toys have released like about 50 different Iron Man figures. I didn't get any of them. Whenever they released one, I never had money at the time or something, or I was busy. I never got one. I always wanted one. And then they released the Mark 6, is it? The one with the triangle? From Avengers, or Iron Man 2 or Avengers. And I thought, oh, I have to have that. And it's the die-cast one. And I thought, I don't care if I've got no money, I'm ordering it, I'm having that one. I need an Iron Man figure in my collection. And it came, it's the best thing ever, I love it. The Iron Man helmet, my wife got me, and it's a battery-powered one. You put it on, and you have a magnetic ring, and you touch the side of it, and the faceplate goes zoop, and then it comes down and lights up. I love that. It makes a great display piece too. This thing dangling on a wooden stand. Inside there is some fake polystyrene snow. And it is actually the snow from Peter Capaldi's final ever Doctor Who episode where he met the first Doctor. That is some of the fake snow that they used in the studio in that episode. I like that as well. I like things like that. Oh, here's another one. This is a good one. Blade Runner 2049, one of my favourite films. It's a masterpiece. Here's a wooden horse, like the one that... what's his name? Ryan Gosling. I can't think of the character's name. Tell me what his name is. Anyway, the wooden horse that he's chasing from his memories. One of my followers made this and sent it to me as a gift. I love that. I love that someone gave it to me. I love that it was a gift. I love it. Even if I'd made it, I love that it's made of wood. It's not like a resin cast or anything. It's wonderful. I love that so much. My actual favourite, I mean, I've got Star Trek figures where I sculpted the heads. I'm in the way, you can't see. And there's no light. Captain Kirk and Spock and McCoy is under there. They're the ones that I sculpted the heads for what was going to be a limited run of unlicensed custom figures that someone made. I sculpted the heads. I love that there are action figures on people's shelves where I sculpted the heads. Sculpting didn't work out for me. I'm too slow. I can't keep it up. I can't sculpt fast enough to make... It's just... They took me 3 months each to sculpt those heads. I can't do it. So I'm painting. Painting is my thing. But I love this lightsaber from A New Hope. So it's Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, the one that Ben Kenobi gives him in that first film. And this was made from a real vintage Graflex camera flash, you know, where they hold it like that, and there's the big circular metal bowl on the top, and they go, say cheese, and you go, ka-chunk, big camera. That's what they made the lightsaber handles with. And I got an actual Graflex camera flash and bought a kit where you can buy these things that are used for handles and a resin cast of the, I don't know if it's resin, maybe resin plastic, I don't know, of the things that actually come from a 1970s calculator, and there used to be LED numbers behind them. That's what they use that bit for. That's a replica. These strips are replicas, but the actual thing itself is a proper old, I don't know what year it's from, but it's an old Graflex thing, just like in Star Wars. And I love that. And it's heavy, and it feels like it's made of metal. Some of the replicas just feel a bit too made, if that makes sense. This is put together, and I love that. I will always love that. And I'm going to have to stop there, because otherwise I will... That's wobbly, and I'll fix that later. I'm going to have to stop there, because I will go through everything, because there are a lot of things that I like. I don't have many things, but I have things that I like. And so I don't collect like every figure that Hot Toys makes, or every thing, every statue that Sideshow makes. I don't do that like some people. Give me a sec. And it looks like I'm drinking Guinness. It's actually coffee. It's decaffeinated coffee in a skull mug. Yeah, so I don't buy everything because I don't have an interest in collecting everything, you know, the way some people do it. I don't have the money to do it, to be honest. I had. I'm gonna have such a headache after this. I don't have the money to do it, but what I do is just have pieces. I'm like, I want that one thing, the Iron Man. I don't want all the different, I know they're all great, I know they're all gorgeous, I know they all look amazing. I want that. I just want one good, heavy, metal feeling Iron Man figure. That one from the Avengers is perfect for me. That's the thing next to it is Tony's arc reactor thing that he has sitting on his desk. That's one of them, and that lights up. So there's another thing that I like. That Star Trek comm badge from the Next Generation that Picard wears, that is cast from the mold, or one of the molds that they used in the show. I love that. See, I've got things. That money, that's a banknote that was used in the Firefly film Serenity, where Nathan Fillion and what's her name? Can't remember her name. Robbed a bank, and there were piles of banknotes in there. That was one of the banknotes. So I have things like that. So those are some of the things that I like. Some of my favourite things. I could have listed everything, but those are some of my favourite things. I've got autographs from musicians up there. 1970s musician Jean-Michel Jarre, who's still going, and 1970s band Kraftwerk, who are still going. I got their autographs there. So lots of things that I like. I'm going to have to call that, because that's like 55 minutes now, and thankfully that is the end of the questions, so I did get through them. Took longer than I thought, but that was primarily because I was talking a lot about that how much to charge question, which was a really good question, Kristen. So I did hope I helped there. But I do have to get on with some stuff. I've got painting to do. I've got some emails to do. I have lots of things to do. So I'm going to go shoop at the end under this video. This video is now done. I'm going to upload it and post it for you guys. Ow. I'm going to take this hat off and put it back on the shelf because ow. That's it. That was this month's. It's the first time I've done this, so I'm no good at it. That was this month's A.M.A. Ask Me Anything. Do I do a different post or do I say do it under here? I'll do both. If you have questions for next month's, leave them in the comments. And I will collect them all, and then when I do next month's, I'll get them from there. I will probably do a post at some point in the middle of the month to ask again, just in case anyone missed it or anyone didn't see this post or didn't look at it. But if you have questions for next month, again, they can be questions about anything. Leave them down there. And that's it. I hope you guys are doing okay. Have a good day, evening, weekend, whenever you're watching this. Have a good time. Look after yourselves, look after other people, be nice to animals, and I will see you soon. Where's my button? I need my button to do the end credits. Okay, there it is. Take care, everyone, and yeah, I will see you soon. There's another tutorial coming soon, so look after yourselves. Bye.